CG, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're in The Plan. This is my weekly show that I talk about all the different news and things that are happening around the community in the week. So, we've got about, 8 days to cover today. So let's start covering them. But right before that, though, folks, please help me mount the algorithm. I just have to like, subscribe, comment, do that stuff on my videos. I do fresh, new, daily content every single day, and I really appreciate you guys' support. It's been amazing. It's a lot of work to get it all done, but it's worth it if we get views, if people are actually paying attention, which I think we've been making good progress. So please help me mount the algorithm. I mounted it twice last night. It was wonderful. So, news. We did have an update recently, and these are actually, there's some fairly good stuff in here, guys. They had some bug fixes. They have the economy changes to DATACRONS is actually fairly friendly. I mean, I'm not saying you need to engage in DATACRONS. I'm not saying that. If people don't want to engage, that's fine. I mean, keep in mind, you're going to get behind, and if you're going to blame, people say, like, oh my gosh, Xerath, like, how did you get a level 9 Datacron on your alt? Like, you must have spent all sorts of money. And I'm like, well, I spent like a tiny amount of crystals, and other than that, it's just from conquest and from spending shard shop currency, to which people say, like, well, you shouldn't do that. That's a bad idea for various reasons. We're actually going to talk about that later, but they're making it a lot easier to engage now too, guys. They want people to engage, obviously, and there are issues. There's all kinds of issues. We're going to talk about all of that once we get to, like, kind of the monologue. Once we stop covering news, there's I've been calling it the monologue to myself. I don't know if that's what it is, but we're gonna get, when we get to that, we're gonna talk a little bit about the economy changes, what things need to change for Datacrons, but the economy changes are friendly to free-to-play. I anticipate that my alternate account is going to have 2 or 3 level 9s by the end of it, so that's pretty fancy. Followed by that, though, we have the Raven's Claw. It's arrived. I got it to, 5 stars on my main. I think I bought a couple packs to get it there, and now it's just going to sit there forever until it's farmable, and I guess that's fine. Doesn't seem like... I need to ask some people who are doing ships. I actually haven't paid any attention to how Raven's Claw is doing with Home 1. My guess is that if it did anything super impressive, I would have heard of it, because it's not like I'm not paying attention. I just haven't specifically asked about it. Sortie is also farmable now. Sortie's a character that's going to be an unlocked character, almost certainly, if we're going to get Galactic Republic in Galactic Republic. Gosh, I can't even talk, guys. Old Republic, like Galactic Republic, but the old version, like not the medium version, not the new, like, shiny new car version, but like the dilapidated version. Dilapidated Republic. If we're gonna get those for Galactic Legends, which I actually think is a great place to get Galactic Legends, because you don't want, like, boring Galactic Legends, you know. I mean, there's very few remaining characters that I would be like, oh yeah, Galactic Legend. Like, maybe like Leia and Jabba. That's about what I can think of, guys, from the original trilogy, or sequel trilogy, or prequel trilogy for that matter. I mean, there's not much, so that's a good place to get them, in my opinion. Though the internet barely survived the rage, the wrath of people when they realized that the next couple legendaries even were going to be from just like a video game. Like Jedi Revan and Darth Revan, not popular when they were released. All those characters, they've all kind of just kind of like come to be okay with them, and I was always okay with them because I love the game. But I mean, that was one point of rage that the community took a while to get over, and there's still some people who won't farm them just because they don't think they'll say, like, well, it's not my Star Wars, which is fine. You can choose not to engage. I mean, same with Datacrons. At the end of the day, like, it's going to be harder and harder to not to engage, I guess. Is just my random thought. But one way or another, sorties, if we're going to get Old Republic, Dilapidated Republic, Decrepit Republic, Galactic Legends, then she's going to be an unlock requirement. And even if she's not, she is a fantastic character. Really, really strong. You guys should, man, she's impressed the heck out of me. Really, really fun stuff, guys. In PvE and PvP. Really cool character. Omega, less fun for some people, but she's accelerated, which, I mean, credit where credit's due here, guys. CG has been very consistent in moving characters from like gamble packs only to shipments only to being farmable for free to play. And you know, Omega is the latest one of those. No complaints there, guys. It's positive stuff for this update. Let's see, the season. So the next GAC season is 3v3, which comes as a no surprise to most of us. We're just gonna have to knuckle down, buckle down, guys. I just made my core videos for those. Actually, the core 3v3 teams with Tassinix, who's a guy who finished top 5 last 3v3. So we get to see his team comps. We used his stuff. I haven't made the thumbnails yet, or I would show you guys, but. That being said, yeah, those will be out in a couple days. Anyways, we've got to fix this bug. Like, we need like hallelujah music to be chiming here, but I'd probably get demonetized if I did that. So what like an angel chorus, like they'd find a way to demonetize me. And that being said, they fixed Vulture Droid assisting. It's been amazing. So good, guys. I've been getting... It feels like when you have like ankle weights on your ankles, as one would, I suppose. I don't know where else you'd put ankle weights. Don't say your butt. But here's the thing. You take off your ankle weights and you can suddenly run faster. Whether or not it's a wise choice, guys. Go ask your physician if ankle weights are right for you. But if you do take them off, if you do it, whether or not it's healthy for you, you can run a lot faster. And that's what it feels like, guys. It's like... Suddenly, people are assisting like they should, and the Malevolence is good again. I've been getting wins because the assists aren't the only part of the mechanics that are desirable for Malevolence, but it certainly is one of the mechanics that helps the most, and it's been nice. You get a few more banners. I've been getting a lot of good banners, in fact, folks, so that's nice. This is a good fix. People will complain about how long it took to fix it, and I get it. I mean, they just fixed a small thing for the claw recently, and people are like, oh really, like you do a fast update for the claw but not for the Malevolence, and it's like, well, yes, I mean, the claw is monetized right now, and Malevolence is free for people. You have to realize CG is in it for money. Once you realize that it's just an animal who's trying to eat money, then you realize it's not someone you should necessarily... Well, you could be angry. You can. There are things. But it makes it easier to realize once you figure out their nature. So, here's the thing, guys. Asajj just got an Omicron for GAC. It's pretty good. I think you can wait. You guys can go watch my video for it if you want. And she seems good. She really does seem pretty good. I hope that they changed her AI a little bit. I hope that they made it so that she uses the AoE more often because she wants to spam it now. It used to be like, well, thank God she never used it. Like, the AI was wise in not using the AoE for the most part. It's like when it does when the AI is allowed to use it, it's like an opponent has to be at like 50% health or less or something like that. And now she wants to spam it all the time. She's gonna have the cooldowns reduced all the time. It's a very good Omicron, it looks like, if the AI plays it correctly. So, just an interesting thing, guys. I think you can wait, though. 3v3 is probably not going to move the needle for Omicron Asajj. You can probably wait, I think. Alright, so as far as news on my personal account, guys, I have to say I dropped the ball big time, just in a very big way. And that is to say that the mod that I promised, like this could be a plus 30 mod potentially if I get 2 plus 6 rolls on it. And I was gonna do one every week, and so when it came time for this week, I was like, oh shoot, I haven't upgraded it, and I don't have the mats for it, and I can't even buy them. There's not a pack available. There's nothing available. I can't even accelerate any of the calendars that would have it. It's just not here, not available for purchase. So we're gonna have to wait for next week. I apologize for those of you who are only watching this show because of this mod. I don't know if you exist, but this is a part of the show that I hope you look forward to a little bit, and just dropped the ball super early, so my bad, guys. Next week, maybe. Just a heads up in terms of channel news, guys. I did make this infographic on the Datacron Set 2. You guys can go check it out. It's on the Discord server, my Discord server. It's in the link. It's in the Discord server link is in the video description, so go check that out, guys. It's in the channel on the near toward the bottom. It's called Infographics. You can't possibly miss it unless you're illiterate, in which case I guess I'm not too surprised considering you're watching YouTube videos instead of reading. I don't know. I wonder if there's any Galaxy of Heroes blogs out there. That would be interesting. Probably really lame though. Alright guys, so let's move on to the packs that they've released here. I mean, we're not going to go over all of them and see if there's a ton of value, whatever, but they finally, quote-unquote, finally monetized Datacrons, and I know people have mixed feelings, people get frustrated, etc. It's a very interesting precedent to set, so we're going to talk about that in just a minute. The other one I do want to point out, guys, is this current Omicron pack. The one on the left is, compared to the other Omicron packs that they've released, it's very comparable to their best deals. And well, I think that there was like a holiday deal that was the very best, but otherwise there was a pack that required, I think it was $100, and you get 30 Omicron, so 1.5 to apply. And you got some other things in there, but for the most part, that was what you got. That you got 1.5 Omicrons, which, I mean, I bought it at least once. I think just once. But I guess all I'm saying here, guys, is this pack is pretty comparable to it. If that's something you're into, I'd make the purchase. I'd buy it, guys. I mean, you can buy it 3 times, but it seems comparable to other good deals on Omicrons. I think I bought one. I don't know if I'll buy any more. I don't think I need any more right now. Remember, Malgus is just around the corner, and you really want at least 2 Omicrons if you're going to unlock him. That being said, let's move on to Datacrons, and this is an interesting thing, guys. They recently released bottomless packs, so you can buy the money packs for those. You get like to level 7. Which I feel like it's a pretty bad deal for 25 bucks. That kind of hurts me, especially for the Acumen one, for the green set. That's set 1. We only have 2 more months left with it. At least the blue one, we have 3 months, 3 seasons of GAC to be able to use them. I still, like, level 7 doesn't move the needle too much, guys, in my opinion, especially because a lot of what you're going to be doing is re-rolling, as I'm going to show you guys in just a minute here. But they also released bottomless packs crystal packs for Acumen and whatever the new one is. I forget. There's the blue set. Set 2. You can use crystals to buy as many as you want. You can go spend $1 billion if you have it on them. And CG will be like, look at that, we're a $2 billion company now. Look at how many bugs we haven't fixed. But here's the thing, folks. Man, well, here, let me just show you, actually. I have a screenshot. Okay, so this isn't even the most invested person. I mean, maybe in set 2. I'm not sure, but look at all these. I'm not sure, Bert, guys. Look at all these Datacrons, guys. Level 9. Like, this constitutes thousands of dollars, I think. At least close to it. I didn't do the math. I'm not going to do the math. You can't make me do the math, damn it all. Sarah, don't make me do the math. So, here's the thing. You go learn some math. That goes for you too, other people who are watching. But here's the thing, guys. What would you do if you faced this? Like, I'd still go in swinging. knowing that I'd probably lose. I mean, this is a really high GP account anyways, with a really good player behind it, so I'd probably lose anyways. I'd still go and swing, and it's going to be an interesting time, guys. I know that some of you have made up your minds that Datacrons unbalance the game, and we might find out if that's true. All these disappear in a couple months. I think the thing that I'm feeling most, guys, isn't like disgust with Datacrons. There's a certain level of that. There's a certain degree of like this is a lot of rules. Like they've changed the mechanics so much. However, I think the thing that I'm cringing most about is this is a lot of money, and it's just gonna go poof at some point. It's gonna go away. I mean, the investment is just gone. But at the same time, it's also going to materially help their guild. So, I don't know. No judgment, certainly. People can spend the money how they would like. It makes me feel more emotional than I thought it would, seeing all of this. I wouldn't want to face it in GAC. We'll have to see how many people are actually investing in this and how often we actually see it, however. Okay, so let's get to the monologue then. That's what I've been kind of thinking of it as then. So just kind of my opinion aspect to it, the opinion piece. So the first thought is, if you farm Inquisitors, and I didn't add an element to this, if you farm Inquisitors early, then through assault battles, you're going to recoup the gear costs eventually. Now, just so Inquisitors as an investment. And I liked this idea because it is, like, once you do get Grand Inquisitor, then you can finish. I mean, gosh, it probably takes too long. I'm not going to do it, but frankly. But you can do up to Challenge 2. You can do Challenge 3. It just takes like 4 hours to get through if you're a good player. So I don't think I have the fortitude for that, folks. I'm sorry to say, but if you're using the assault battle, you like as kind of justification, like you are getting a bunch of shards, you're getting a bunch of materials, you're getting a bunch of stuff, and eventually all of that turns into a more worthwhile investment. Now, whether or not you want to, I mean, I would save up for a different assault battle first. If you had to do one, if you had to choose one, I would do a different one than this. But it's something I kind of like. I like the idea, at least. So, something to think about. Alright, here's the big problem, guys. We're going to talk about Datacrons now. I just had that random thought about Inquisitors. So, here's the huge issue, guys. The problem that I have with Datacrons right now. So, first off, full disclosure. I've actually started liking them a little bit. The mechanics of it make it interesting. They're like, we get to see some interesting stuff, and the off meta is actually here. It just looks different than we expected. I'll show you guys a couple screenshots in a minute here, but here's the problem, guys. So if you want to invest in Datacrons, you have to spend some currency. You have to spend some shard shop currency at the very minimum, and sometimes you're going to spend ally points. Sometimes they'll bamboozle you into that, even though that's not a good deal. Or they'll, you might even spend a couple crystals on them. You'll definitely do more refreshes in Conquest to be able to get them if you are engaging. And here's the issue, guys. All of these resources that we're spending to get Datacrons eventually lead to the Datacrons disappearing. Well, yes, we get some, like, a slight advantage before that, but all the Datacrons eventually just disappear, and all those resources disappear with them. Now, if CG is actually calling this a progression system, I have to say this is a little bit backwards, because we're spending resources that will eventually just vanish into thin air. Like, some people are spending dollars, which is a totally different matter, but other people are spending shard shop currency, which I would have just used to buy gear with, or relic levels, or whatever. I would have spent it to advance my account and have it be a permanent change. However, I'm spending this currency, even if it's not that much, it's still spending things. Like, we're spending time, we're spending effort, we're spending shard shop currency, we're spending some crystals to get these, and it's not progressing our account. It's just making some characters stronger for a couple different game modes, and that's it. And we're not actually progressing our accounts. Those things are temporary and they go away. You're throwing them in the trash, and so we're in the situation now where we've taken a step back. They haven't given us anything else, nothing extra other than that assault battle with Inquisition, which no one can even do hardly because they don't have Inquisitors farmed. But this is a huge issue, guys. We're spending, they haven't given us more resources, and yet they're expecting us to engage. That's frustrating. It's not a progression system, it's a like regression system in a lot of ways. And not to mention, I mean, Datacrons also require Relic 3 and Relic 5 requirements, guys. It's a good word. But okay, so let's say for a minute you loved GAC, all right? Just pretend for a minute. No, well, you love GAC, I'm sure. If you watch this channel, you probably think GAC's all right anyways. But, you know, GAC is just all right with me kind of thing. But here's the thing. Let's say that you actually like Datacrons. You want to engage. You're like, yes, I'm going to engage. And then let's also say that you're a mid-level account. You're 7 million or you know, 5 million to 7 million, something like that. And you don't have a ton of full 5-man squads that are going to be Relic 5 or fully Relic 3 for that matter. I know that my Professor X account at 7.1 million does not have hardly any of those squads. A lot of them are like, oh, well, shoot, my Jolie's only Relic 2, so we can't even engage. We can't even get the level 3 Datacrons, not to mention, you know, much less like getting the level 6s or 9s to actually work out. And we have this situation where it's like, hey, cool, I love Datacrons. I love the idea. Let me play them. Let me use them. And CG's like, no, like, go screw yourself. Go spend a bunch of money on relics. Go do it now. We're waiting. And you can just, like, walk away dejected. You can be like Charlie Brown, and CG's like Lucy holding the football, you know, pulling it away at the last minute. That's what it feels like a little bit. It's like, oh, man, I'm going to use a Datacron. Oh, nope. Basti, I swear, why aren't you Relic 3, girl? Like, what the hell? Like, what they need to do is loosen this somehow. That it needs to be loosened. This needs to be, like, I don't care, like, make it so that Gear 11 can be in there, and they just don't get anything from it. They're like, oh, hey, I see the rest of you have a Datacron. That will be nice to have one day. Like, my Gear 11 Ezra's like, you know what? It's fine that I'm the worst Jedi, and now I'm the very worst Jedi on this team, because I'm Gear 11, and the rest of you have relics and a Datacron, but at least the rest of them could engage in it, and then it would give us more incentive to actually engage with this, guys. I think that would be really nice. The main thing, though, folks, and this is the thing I think is my biggest pet peeve, my biggest frustration right now. We've talked about it in previous plans, but they need to fix the gear crunch. That is important, guys. The gear crunch is, they promised, like Simba said, you promised, you said you were going to give us more phases, more gear. We need more gear, more resources if we're going to engage in Datacrons, if we're going to enjoy them. Which I'm not saying that people have to find them enjoyable. However, even if they wanted to, this makes it slower to advance in like, it's already impossible for a lot of people. Even for my main account at almost 10 million GP, I feel constricted. Like, I don't want another Relic 9 to place because it costs so much freaking gear. Like, I don't, like my alt account, I could apply 5 Relic 9s right now. I have the materials. I have the droid brains for that. I could apply 5 more. I could have as much as my main account. And I don't want to because it costs too much gear. It's too much gear because they're not giving us enough. They just aren't giving us enough. And then they give us Datacrons and like, oh yeah, you can just use like currency. And I'm like, so what other things, CG, could we use that currency on? They're like, oh, you could buy like gear with it or something, I guess. Well, maybe give us ways to get more of that currency. We need more something, CG. Like, just because you give us Datacrons, we're like, yay, that's cool. I'll just, like, throw away my resources for nothing. I think that that's about the asinine-est thing I've ever heard. Like, really, like, give us some gear. You promised. You said you were going to give us more. And you haven't yet. You haven't even finished phase 1 yet. We were looking at it. Haven't even finished phase 1. So maybe do that before you introduce something like Datacrons, which is highly controversial. And now people don't want to engage in it because they don't want to make it so that their progression slows down to play the new game mode that just costs money in their perspective, in their eyes. Maybe just frickin' fix it, CG. Please do it. Now, that being said, Datacrons, I have a Relic 9 or level 9 CLS Datacron with Riposte, which someone just told me recently. You have to not pronounce the T in Riposte, it's silent. They're like, no, you don't actually pronounce it with a T, and I was like, I do. So, I have Riposte, and this is a Jedi Master Luke team that was just in Arena. Just disappeared him, guys, after I killed Jedi Revan. It went away. And then Supreme Leader Kylo, I mean, look at this. Because you hit under the protection, I killed Hux right away. Just nuked him. Nuked the F out of that guy. And he's got... So, guys, off-meta is back. Like, Datacrons do seem more fun, frankly. They just do. I have been enjoying them more and more. They're more tactical options, more interesting stuff. We just need a way to engage with them that doesn't make it so that your roster slows down even more. We already can't keep up with the whales. Not even me, not even a guy who spends hundreds every month can keep up with it. And yet, here we are. That we're still regressing a bit. All right, guys. Now let's talk about some wisdom from Reddit. Here's one of the most... so I actually talked on this topic here. And remember, guys, I'm not adding names to any of these. This isn't intended to really throw any particular person under the bus. And I'm not even being totally tongue-in-cheek when I say wisdom from Reddit. Now, Reddit is a place where... I mean, it's a vile hive of scum and villainy. Let's just admit it. It's a think tank, or a whatever, echo chamber think tank, dear Lord, not that. It's an echo chamber full of anger and just bitter rage. So here's I mean, it's a microcosm here. There's some good to be found in Reddit, but this comment. Let's all agree. I propose, folks, that we all agree that I am the best looking content creator. Not just in Galaxy of Heroes, but like in anything, including like comparing myself to females and everything. Like I am the best. I'm not. I know, but let's all agree. We can all. I'm sure. I bet that I could find like one person who agrees with that, right? But let's all agree. Like let's be reasonable, guys. Datacrons are the worst thing to happen to this game. They're the worst. Just the worst. I don't know, guys. This got 600 plus upvotes. I'm sure by the time I'm posting this, but like it's probably gonna just be 1,000 or something. This is a lot. So I did comment on it. It's and I got super upvoted, and then I got like super downvoted. It was like someone called their guild. They're like, hey, go downvote that guy, like get him down. And I was like at -15 for a while, karma, and then now I'm at like +4. It's crazy, guys. Reddit's a wild ride, but you engage and it's fine, whatever. And I actually had some good conversations with people. But here's the thing: Datacrons are the worst thing. This kind of hyperbole isn't helping us, guys. If you hate Datacrons, that's great. I mean, you should feel free. That's your prerogative. You can hate things. This kind of hyperbole makes me not like. Why do I want to talk to someone who talks like this? Like, maybe they don't. I mean, they probably don't want to talk to me either. This kind of language just doesn't lend itself to reasonable discourse. That's all, folks. All right, so this is in one of the conversations that I had, and I'm not even throwing my guy under the bus at all. I promise. This I appreciated their engagement, but this is very interesting, guys. So it's cool to hate CG. This is part of their like this is one of the paragraphs that they sent me. So it's cool to hate CG. Everyone does it, at least on this subreddit. At first I thought they were being ironic, but it's just kind of funny because this is how Reddit is. And most Galaxy of Heroes discords they're part of, for good reason, they are scumbags with a lot of the things they do: lack of communication, supportive, content creators, etc. It's a long list, and we have all heard it 1,000 times, so I won't add more to the list. And I get it. I mean, it's an echo chamber in Reddit, and I mean on YouTube too. A lot of people, I mean. Here's the thing, guys. People, the prevalent notion is that the only thing saving this game is the IP. The Star Wars is saving it. Star Wars doesn't save a bad game. If it's not making money, then the game just goes away. I've played a few Star Wars games that were great and they didn't monetize well, and it just went away. Star Wars on its own won't save it. So I don't know. This also is just very one-dimensional, guys. One-dimensional. Of course it's cool. It's easy to hate someone. It's easy to hate anything. It means you don't have to think. And I'm not saying that CG doesn't have issues. We've already talked about it. CG is honestly like they're like, hey, we created this cool game mode, but screw you guys, because you have to actually like not advance your account as much in order to engage with it. Like, ridiculous. Not a good idea. Not okay, really. But I mean, to just say that it's not worth anything, I don't know. This kind of attitude. Here's another one. Someone else said this: they have earned every bit of toxicity. It's 1,000% warranted when you go and do this to the community multiple times. Do you ever earn toxicity? It's like, do you guys ever like talk to someone? You're like, oh yeah, like, terrible person. I can just be toxic to them. That's okay. Like, it's okay to treat people this way. I don't know. It seems like if people were less toxic, maybe we could actually figure things out better. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. This one's like what my thumbnail was referring to. It's making me dumber, guys. So, okay, Lord of the Rings just launched a thing, and this is actually on the Lord of the Rings Discord server. Like, so Lord of the Rings, not the show that's coming out, that CG's making a new game, Lord of the Rings game, and so people get on their Discord to, for various reasons. That's fine. Like, CG's gonna have a cool new Lord of the Rings game. Well, maybe it's cool, who knows, but a lot of people are hating the graphics, and we won't get into that. The art and everything. I mean, this is Galaxy of Heroes, but I just wanted to articulate, guys, how mind-numbing it is to see, to go onto a Discord server about Lord of the Rings game, a mobile game that's about Lord of the Rings, and have people say things like, it's about half as appealing to me as the idea of running a Swaga alt. I'd rather separate my shoulder again than run a Swaga. Like, this is the equivalent of like going to the dentist office on a day you don't have an appointment and just telling people who are about to go in, oh man, I hate the dentist so much. I don't like to go. It's painful. It's not cool. I don't like to go. Or like going to the zoo, you're like, hey, don't go like pet the bears or anything, like, or maybe you want to, but I just want to let you know I don't like it. Like, I don't care. Like, maybe don't go to a place that's about this and just like, hey, I have an opinion about this that I hate it. Like, no one cares. Like, stop. I was sent several of these, actually, of people going to the Discord server and saying how dumb it would be to play this game. I'm like, make your decision and then just follow through with it. Don't go to their place of business, and I don't know. It just maybe one of the dumbest things ever, guys. All right, finally, let's talk about speculation. Or let's speculate. Are we gonna get more GLs sometime this year? I want to know what you guys think. Which GLs are we gonna get? Do we want more GLs? We're gonna get Profundity this year, certainly, definitely, absolutely getting Profundity. Are we gonna get other GLs? What are we going to do? Do we want that? Do we want more GLs? CG has been pretty bullish in defending GLs with Datacrons lately. They're going to keep it up? Is this good for the game? I'm not sure. All I'm sure of is we're done, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xerath gets annoyed when people go to a Discord server and says things like this. Whatever. At the end of the day, people can have their opinions. You'll excuse me for wanting them